This is the land where it happened. Look at it. What a dump. A northern land in a northern sea. A land called Britain. Poor, cold, primitive people, seemed a bit thick. Didn't have videos, chicken nuggets, My Little Pony or the FA Cup. Lived in tribes, in filth and squalor. Hundreds of babies, little mud huts. As for an army, gotta be joking. Army? What army? Invaders came and walked all over them. Soldiers from Rome with swords and suntans walked right through them, squashed and flattened them. Now they sit round, picking their noses. Yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, Mr. Roman soldier. What a bunch of right no-hopers. What's that sound? The call of the tribe. Come to the compound. And they come. Short men with long hair, it runs down their backs with plaits and braids, and their eyes are sad and bitter, and the women have ashes in their hair and fear in their hearts. There's a short, dark Briton dressed in black with a face like death and a plastic Mac. 2 tall twin girls over there with a baby rabbit with soft white hair and a little pink nose and floppy ears. And the cheeks of the girls are wet with tears. It's a crowd now, a large crowd, getting larger by the minute till they crash through into the compound. And there, lying in his coffin, is the tribe chief. The crown on his head's as much use now as a horse with 1 leg, because he's dead, stone dead. Who'll take over now that he's lying here stiff as a board with a sword at his side? Who'll lead the tribe? Who'll keep them in hand now the land is thick with Romans, hated Romans? Then suddenly, the sobbing stops, the howling ceases. Walking towards the dead chief is a woman with hair like flame. She kisses the corpse of her husband, throws a handful of dust on the coffin, and begins to hum a melody, a tune of the tribe, a song of farewell. The chief is dead, but the tribe lives on, a sacred moment. Shut that stupid whining! The door burst open, and standing there are a hated pair of unshaven, body-stinking, hairy, muscular, oh, so totally confident, clutching their swords like they'll do the business, Roman. More pour in. They push and they jeer and they leer at the women. They're drunk and mean, and what they mean is, we're in charge. This is our country now, and you're just monkeys down from the trees. Britons, monkeys down from the trees. The short, dark Briton, dressed in black, bows and scrapes and says, "Excuse me, sirs, I know you're only doing your job and doing it very well, of course. It's just that as the undertaker of the tribe, may I respectfully point out we are right in the middle of a holy funeral service, and so if it isn't too much trouble, could I trouble you to wait until..." He gets no further. A Roman, built like Daley Thompson, grabs him by the throat, picks him up and starts to squeeze. The undertaker's face goes pretty colours. Any second now, snap, crackle, pop. Any second now, any second now, any second now.
Stop!
Why do they stop? What can she do? Just one weak woman with a head of flame.
Stop! Stop!
But they do. They drop him with a thunk and turn to the woman who stopped their frolics.
What do you want? Why do you barge in uninvited, like football fans fighting in church?
Your chief is dead. You have no leader now, so Rome will do you a favour. We'll run your tribe, we'll take our taxes, and look at this plan. We'll build you roads, hundreds of roads, straight through your woods, right through your fields, expressways, motorways, beautiful orbital ring roads, and here, on this very spot, a service station with 24-hour fast food microwave catering. That's what you need, that's what you'll get. Try to stop us, and we'll smash you flat.
The woman's heart pounds with passion. By her side, her 2 twin daughters hiss like the wild beasts they find in the forest. And the woman says, "Boys, you're just boys. Our weakest women are stronger than your army. We could slay you blindfold with our hands tied behind our backs."
The Romans gaze in amazement. Their faces look like fishes gaping for air. No one talks like that to Roman soldiers. Then with a growl, they pull down their visors, they pull up their riot shields, they pull out their truncheons and crack!
At the
The Britons try to run, but there's nowhere to hide. Crack.
At the second stroke.
The huts begin to burn. Crack.
At the third stroke.
The compound is full of broken, battered Britons, bruised bodies with scarlet scars, and the Romans have gone, laughing, their peacekeeping mission accomplished. The two twins gaze in dazed disbelief.
Mother, look what they've done!
The girls had a rabbit, but now the rabbit's dead. The girl's laps are stained red.
The woman, white with anger, lifts the crown from a dead husband's head.
Her voice is hard, hard as the Roman strap that bit her back.
We will take you!
She calls into the darkness.
I, Boudicca, will raise an army and drive you into the sea.
And her tribe cried, Boudicca!
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 Boudicca! So the tribe sets to work. Blacksmiths hammered out swords, long, strong Celtic swords.
Head-cutting swords,
And the women made shields,
shining shields.
covered in spells and fearful faces. And the children blew with the bellows till the sparks spun high in the smoking sky. And in the middle of this thunderous, wondrous din, 15 muscly men, bare to the waist and sweating like stallions, hammered and hacked and honed a huge hunk of beaten bronze until it began to take shape. First, 4 wheels, then a massive body, until finally it was a chariot, a mighty, shuddering, gleaming chariot.
Boudicca bathed her hands in a holy bowl brimful of bruised berries and drew on her war paint. Then she climbed into her chariot, and with her tribe milling round her, bold, fearless, and ticking like time bombs, moved slowly towards the Roman city of Colchester.
Far, far away, on the far side of the island, is a land even wetter, even danker, even darker. A land called Wales.
There the Romans face another enemy. Magicians, Welsh wizards, who hunt their enemies in gibbering packs.
A Roman messenger, his feet bleeding from 3 weeks walking, drops exhausted in front of General Suetonius, supreme commander of the Roman forces.
New orders, gasped the messenger. Wipe out the wizards and then get home. In the southeast, a she-snake strikes at the heart of Roman Britain. Boudicca must be defeated.
Over the river, the wizards are waiting.
Green fire spits from their fingers.
Foul thoughts flow from their piping throats in a foreign tongue.
Round their waists dangle and clatter the skulls of their victims.
Attack!
Orders the general.
Attack and destroy!
No Roman moves. Fighting foreigners is one thing, one flash of a sword and they're brimful of fear. But wizards, magic mumbo-jumbo merchants, they'll turn us to trees or to fleas with a wave of their wands.
The general's eyes narrow. Romans obey orders, he says, drawing his sword. Or Romans die. Romans don't think. Romans don't argue. Romans want only the glory of Rome. Now charge!
They charge. The Welsh pack collapses like a bad day at Cardiff Arms Park. The last Welsh wizards are mopped up like bread cleaning the gravy plate.
But there's no time to celebrate. Southeast, orders the general. We march southeast.
Slowly, the great Roman heavy metal war machine, the siege tanks, the battering rams, the stone throwers, the stretcher teams, catering trucks, the press corps, and 1,001 hangers-on lumber towards Boudicca.
The wheels of Boudicca's chariot bite right to the heart of the British mud.
Behind!
Her army grows.
Out of the hedgerow, hunters appear.
Peasants with scythes, farmers with knives,
Bandits, rastas,
nuns and monks,
soldiers, sailors,
skins and punks,
mother, father, daughter, son.
brand new baby, everyone singing yeah!
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 This time
we'll do it!
kick out the Romans, out, out, out! Kick out the Romans, out, out, out! Kick out the Romans, out, out, out! Kick out the Romans, out,
This is Colchester.
Nice.
Ever so.
Tasteful.
Very.
Look at those windows.
Double glazing.
Triple.
Triple, cost a few, Bob.
Come here, feel this central heating.
Oh, I know, I can feel it. It's ever so warm.
Lovely car parks.
Supermarkets.
Super toy shops.
Tie shops.
Tea shops.
And what's this over here?
A temple.
It's posh.
Temple of the great god Claudius.
Look at his statue, Emperor Claudius, ruler of Rome.
Nice.
Yes, very nice.
Colchester, a Roman city.
Modern
And clean.
and completely undefended. Boudicca's boys bury their bodies in a big bowl of bright blue woad. Wow! War paint! Makes you look like a blue streak of bright lightning. They paint their faces, paint their bodies, paint their hair, then...
This is the plan!
The Queen demands attention. Even the dogs shut up.
We take them by surprise. We scream, we charge, we bear down like hairy madmen slavering for blood and scare them witless.
The men smile. They can smell victory.
Hello, Colchester.
Say the two twin girls.
We're coming for tea. Put the kettle on. In the watchtower, the watchman woke with a start. What was that banshee screaming like cats in the night? Then he saw them.
First 10, then 100, 1,000, then 1,000 on 1,000 of wild-spitting, hairy, bright blue Britons. True blue Britons, bare to the waist.
And at their head, with hair like blood, the she-lord, her, in her chariot, with an eye slap bang in the middle of her forehead, like a cyclops.
Attack!
Screams the watchman.
We're under attack!
Those his final words. 6 arrows slice him like pre-packed ham. The rest is easy. Buildings burn, wine bars blaze and spit. Romans fall like toy soldiers, not even time to lift a sword. Caught in the underwear, in the morning sun.
Romans race to the temple. They cower at the altar, under the shadow of Claudius' statue. Don't touch us, they squawk with fear. This is the house of God in here.
In the entrance, Boudicca stands glowing in the morning sun. God, she scoffs, that fat face far away in Rome, sucking Britain dry with tithes and taxes. Claudius, what a joke, what a jerk. He won't help you now, should have got a woman to worship. We don't let the side down.
Slowly, she approaches the hated statue of her oppressor. She's waited, she's hated for this moment all her life. She rolls her sleeves up, then tears the head from off its body. Word gets through to the Roman army, lumbering south to smash the Britons.
Mayday! Mayday! Enemy attack on Colchester. Complete retreat. Loss of life. Colchester now in enemy hands.
General Suetonius bangs the dashboard. Who is this woman who dares take on the might of Rome with her Stone Age morons?
Mayday! Mayday! Boudicca! Victory after victory! Counts have fallen. Gideon Park! East Ham! West Ham! Enemy occupation!
General Suetonius whips his men. He drives them on with bleeding fists. He knows where she's going. He knows what she's doing. She's heading for London. London the glorious, the jewel in the crown of the Roman Empire.
Mayday! Mayday! Bandits approaching London! Assistance required! Can't hold out! Mayday! 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 Mayday!
In London, there is panic, total panic. Bankers grab their bags and head for the hills. Politicians dive into bunkers. Soldiers commandeer the means of transport, then drive like Alan Prost to get the boss away.
In the streets, chaos, anger flares against the Roman bosses.
Strikes,
Marches,
demos,
lockouts.
pickets picket the rich.
Rich pickets picket the pickets.
Flying pickets from Harwich picket the pickets who picket the pickets.
A traffic policeman asked to see a driving license.
Bang, 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 bang!
Shot in the head.
Window smash.
Loot is lifted.
Hundreds of feet race quickly for cover.
And all around town, the cry goes up.
She's coming! She's coming! Get away as fast as you can! She's coming! She's coming! Get away as fast as you can! She's coming! She's coming! Get away!
In the outskirts of the city, in the rosy, cozy suburbs, where every neighbour's nice and sensible, and every window tells of neighbourhood watch, they're watching neighbours and never see Boudicca. She hurls a firebrand.
A solitary seabird on an intercontinental holiday flight looks down on London and sees the strangest sight. A fireball, a Catherine wheel, a whirly-gig of sparks career round the town, consuming every house, every horse, every hearse, every person in its path.
Mayfair, no
consuming
more.
every house,
Kilburn,
every
no
horse,
more.
every hearse,
Soho,
every
no
person
more.
in its
Camden, no more.
consuming
Acton,
every
no more.
house, every horse,
Holborn,
every
no more.
hearse, every person
Hampstead,
in its
no
path.
more. Highgate, no more.
Consuming every house.
Mayfair,
The
no
eyes
more.
of the undertaker blaze with bliss in the light of the blitz city. The tribe are out of control, ripping and tearing, killing and maiming, gorging and goring. Hack, slash, crack, bash, whack, smash. The she-chief looks on in horror as her men tear the heart out of London. 2 weeks later, the Romans arrive in the south, exhausted. They pitch their tents. Tomorrow, the battle. But now, they fall asleep, completely, totally spent.
From out of nowhere, an old woman appears. The camp dogs, each one looks like Nasha, stir from their sleep. But why don't they bark? Why don't they gnaw at her hands and her feet as she crawls through the mud?
Is she magic? Is she a witch?
She pulls aside a tent flap. A young guard lies asleep in the doorway. The woman draws a dagger. A little light plays across her face.
Boudicca. Spying.
She sees a letter from his mum in the young man's hand. Some milk and a half-eaten jaffa cake lie by his side. It's a boy, just a boy. She smiles, puts back the dagger, and steps right over the dozing Roman.
Deep inside his war tent lies Suetonius. Boudicca stares at his sleeping, spotless, scarless face. She pokes her tongue out. She pulls an ugly face. Her mucky, grubby fingers do rude signs. Suetonius slumbers on. She grabs the battle plan from off his table, sneaks the bag of gold from in his pocket, then disappears into the night. At sunrise, on a hillside, the Britons dance their war dance. Drunk as skunks like punks and monkeys, waving their arms in frantic frenzy. Crucial! They cry.
We're crucial!
They cry. And then they start their charmless chant. When we meet an enemy walking down the street, he chops off his arms and his legs and his feet. Any old enemy walking round the town, we beat him with a stick until his pants fall down. If we see an enemy, this is what we shout. Go away, enemy, out, out, out. Any enemy, ba, ba, ba. Ya, daddy, ya, daddy, ya, daddy, ya. Wicky wacky enemy, wicky wacky wee. Ya, daddy, daddy, daddy.
The old woman looks down on them. How can she hope to cope? They're stupid, argumentative, irritable, destructive, like kids at the end of the week with a weak young teacher. How can she lead this load of layabouts against the ranks of an international war corporation? On the other hand, What choice has she got? Wearily, she calls for attention. Look what I have! She holds up her booty, the gold and the plan.
Who is this daft old woman, and what is she clutching? It's gold.
And the plan.
Roman gold.
And the plan.
They run towards her, tumbling, fumbling, trying to grab the bag. They snatch the plan from out of her hand and tear it into 1,000 pieces.
Two twins wriggle and duck to the front of the rock and rip her arms with their greedy claws.
Then they stop. They realize only one woman could worm her way into the Roman camp. Just one woman would risk her life for the greedy, grasping tribe.
Mother! Sorry. I didn't mean... I mean, we thought you were somebody else. And look at the plan. It's ruined now, battered with mud. About as much use as a dead pig in a horse race.
Boudicca sighs. Never mind the plan, she says. None of us can read anyway. The British march towards the Roman camp, quivering with excitement.
They bring their families.
And their picnics.
And their pets.
And their possessions.
All boozing.
Snoozing.
Packed in.
Fleets of
brightly.
Coloured.
Painted.
Hay carts.
Shouting.
Giggling.
Like naughty kids in the back of the bus. Boudicca weaving in and out of the lines, issuing orders. You take the left flanks. Don't charge till I tell you.
But do they hear her?
Are they listening as they give their glistening swords a final sharpen?
The ragtag and bobtail army reaches the Roman encampment. Then...
nothing.
silence.
All the Roman tents are neatly packed away, like the last day at a summer guide camp. A faint hiss escapes from the lips of the Britons.
Look over there, up on the wooded hill.
At the top,
In battle formation.
row upon row of swords and shields.
The Roman army.
Waiting,
Neat and orderly.
clean and beautiful.
Bright, shiny metal.
State of the art.
Like a brand new CD music centre.
Then the families of the fighters clamber out of their carts. It's oh such a peaceful and a happy sight. They eat their chocolate biscuits and their hard-boiled eggs, and they settle back to watch the big fight.
The British soldiers shuffle up towards their foe, 'cause they all want to be in the thick of the fray. But Boudicca says, slow down, my men. We're gonna beat the Romans in a subtle way.
But the British won't listen and the British won't learn. And even while she's talking to them,
They're running past her.
Stop, she says again, but she's talking to the air as the army just charges faster and faster.
Beg state and families, egg them on.
The Roman army calmly waits.
The hairy hordes keep climbing towards them.
Their blood pumping heat.
And their hearts pumping hate.
Up they climb.
But now
Their legs
begin to feel the cramp and begin to feel the pain.
they're breathing harder now.
As they scramble slowly up the steep terrain.
The Romans stay still.
Not a whisper.
Not a flicker.
Not the dropping of a single
Pin.
is heard.
Then just as the Britons reach the top,
The figure of a Roman captain stirred.
he didn't shout loud.
He didn't shout long
His voice wasn't fierce.
or full of menace.
He just said,
Fire, 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 fire.
like a football goal at the Wimbledon tennis.
Then,
Wave,
after,
wave,
of,
arrows,
poured,
down,
and
great
big,
boulders,
smash,
the mud,
and
murderous,
clouds,
oh,
javelins,
big,
down
deep,
in the
hot,
heart of British blood.
The Queen saw the plight of her fighters on the hilltop, and she raced like a demon across the battlefield. And she rode into the swirling mass of fighters on a chariot, try and get the enemy forced to yield. And then she saw Suetonius, cried out, Suetonius, 1-on-1 combat till one of us is dead. Whichever one wins gets the victory, I challenge you.
Slowly, Suetonius shook his head. He hadn't got time for childish heroics. He'd orders to give, he'd papers to sign. Why start mixing with a red-haired vixen when one wrong move and your job is on the line?
Then he nodded at a guard,
Who
crept
up,
punched,
his
knife
in her back,
and a heart
did break.
for the coward who had dared.
Was the guard she had spared with the letter from his mother and a Jaffa cake.
And the last thing that their daughters ever saw of their mother,
As they struggled up the hill towards her battle cart,
a cloud of orange hair amongst a horde of Roman soldiers.
and the guard lying dead with a sword through his heart.
Then the British broke ranks.
And they fled in a panic,
Let's head for the hills by the two daughters.
but they couldn't escape
Because their way was blocked
by their pets
and their
and
possessions.
the crowds of their supporters.
And then the slaughter started. Soon, all that was left was the bodies.
Peasants,
Farmers,
nuns,
rastas,
and the two dead daughters hand in hand.
Slowly, the funeral director picked his way through the corpses, smiling. Coffins, a boom industry.
Only Boudicca's body was missing.
Where was she?
Did she die?
No one knew.
A white rabbit scampered across the battlefield and disappeared into the mist.
Some say she took poison as she lay dying on the battlefield.
Some say she was carried away mortally wounded and died in hiding.
Some say she fled to Birmingham, though I find that hard to believe.
But the old people say that whenever times are hard,
Whenever there is oppression and tyranny,
whenever there is fighting against impossible odds,
the ghost of Boudicca rides again.
and on starry nights, she and her daughters can be seen speeding across the sky in their chariot, crying,
People of Britain, wake from your slumber and arise!